Hello, everyone. My name is Candace. I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada from the American Board of Hypnotherapy, American Board of NLP, and Timeline Therapy Association. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to Dr. June Acevedo, who is in the Philippines. Dr. June Acevedo is a master trainer of NLP, a trainer of hypnosis, coaching, and timeline therapy. He's going to be speaking on why you need to have tools to help others be open to change. Now, who wants to know why we need to have tools to help others? Anyone here? Right. So, June, the stage is yours. We're excited to hear what you have to share with us.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'm June Acevedo. I'm the first neurolinguistic programming master trainer here in the Philippines. And before we start, let's have a show of hands. Who here wants to create change, not only in your life, but also in other people's lives? Very good. Thank you for that. And who here wants to also level up your life and also transform more lives along the way? Can I get the hands up? And very good. So you are in the right webinar. Again, is it okay, everyone, if I share a bit of my journey with everyone here?
Yes.
I discovered neurolinguistic programming last 2020. That was during the height of the pandemic. And the reason why I enrolled everyone was just because I was already so stuck in my life. I've invested in a lot of businesses here in the Philippines and I was getting mediocre results. And that was the the lowest point of my life and I was asking myself what's wrong with me. No matter how hard I tried, I ended up with the same things. It felt like I was getting a big stone and I was just hitting my head with a stone. I don't know if you could relate with that. And the sad part there is I was not even lazy, everyone. I was so hardworking. I'm the breadwinner. And there's a part of me that I want to give my family the best life ever. And I knew that it's not the businesses that was the problem, and it was me. Now, when I did NLP, and I could see some of our coaching assistants here, Gina, Carolyn, you've created change in my life, and I know that I didn't used to speak like this. During those 7 days, it completely transformed my life. I realized that I had a lot of things that I didn't know inside me that was causing my failures and mediocrity. And all the things that was causing it was my mind. I had guilt when it came to money. I had a conflict when it came to being rich. Because I'm based in the Philippines, I am a Catholic, everyone. And then when we were growing up, we were so exposed to money is the root of all evil. If you become rich, you become a bad person. Unconsciously, I didn't know. When I was already so success driven, I was the one putting myself down because every time I would go up, that part of me would kick in. June, do you remember that money is the root of all evil? So what will happen, everyone? I would do something that would sabotage my success. And the sad part there is you keep wondering, right? You will read all those investment books, you read all those things that could help you become abundant and rich in your life, but still you get the same things over and over and over again. And it's so unfair if we live our lives like that. Do you agree? Because I believe that we should live fulfilled lives, abundant lives, purpose filled lives. And then did you know what happened next when I finished my practitioner? When I did my master prac, that's where everything changed. I discovered values. I realized how I was thinking, what kind of line of thinking, what was my inner compass, everyone. And I became such a crazy guy here in the Philippines that I wanted people here in the Philippines to learn about NLP because it was so life changing. Imagine everyone here, you already know the magic of hypnotherapy, neurolinguistic programming, timeline therapy. And you already experienced that change, right, in your life. That's why you're here. You're a believer. But what about our families? What about our friends? Because it's so unfair that we just fly on our own, right? We want also other people, especially the people that we love, to fly together with us. But what's the main challenge when you're working with your family and friends? They are the most resistant. Knowing this, even though they've seen my transformation, they would always think of June that they knew 10 years ago, the June that they knew 20 years ago, the June that they knew that was a smoker, was an alcoholic. So even if they see you transforming your life, you still don't have the credibility for them. But the question here, everyone, is that an excuse not to help them? Because if you truly love the people that you love, your family, your friends, we need to do whatever it takes. Do you agree? Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And this morning, afternoon, and evening, I will share with you tools which you are familiar with already that you can maximize to your advantage. Why not make your conversation with your mother, with your partner, with your children, with your friends more intentional to helping them change for the better? How many of you would like that? Can I get a hands up? Very good. Thank you for that. Now, do you know how they catch monkeys in the forest? The monkey hunters in the forest, what they do, everyone, is that they put food inside the jar. Then what happens next is that the monkeys, when they put their hand inside the jar, they would grip the food. Because of that, they would force their hands to be free. But in the process, because they are so tightly gripped in the food, they could not be free of the jar. Imagine how simple is that, right? They put their hands inside the jar just to get the food, the banana or whatever food there is. And when they attempt to pull their hands out, they couldn't pull their hands out. But in reality, it was just so easy to escape. Now the now this is in the context of day-to-day living. This is not in the context of coaching everyone. Just to be clear on that. Because you already are coaches, you already are therapists, you already know how to help your patients and clients. This is in the context of day-to-day living, the people that we love most, that we interact most. How do we use what we know to help those whom we love? Now, these are the challenges that I faced when I was attempting to help them. Because one reason why I became a coach was to help my brother. Because before, my brother was what we call the black sheep in our family. And then when I became a coach, it was being said there that we can coach our families. And I told myself, I wanted to help my brother, but right now I can't coach my brother. Such irony, right? But along the way, as I became a master trainer, I realized that we can help them indirectly. We can help them without them knowing that we are helping them. And it's already in front of us. The tools are already in front of us. Now, what are the challenges that I face? Number one is identity attachment. Most of my friends, my family would already say, June, I'm like this already. Ever since ever since I was young, this is how I was raised. Right? Imagine that line of thinking, everyone. Ever since I was young, this is how we were raised. This is who I am. And most people are so proud of that. Some of my friends have secondary gain. They would say, June, sorry, I'm so attached to this because that's the only time I feel loved. Right? Because they have secondary gain. Another is cultural or family programming, which is very dominant here in the Philippines. Philippines is a values level 3 and 4 thinking country, everyone. If you know values level thinking. So values level 3 and 4 Philippines are that majority. And a small percentage is a 5, 6, and 7. Then the bias and familiarity because they know me before I became a neurolinguistic programming trainer or practitioner. They have this bias. June, I know you since birth. I know you since high school. I know you 10 years ago. I know you. They have this bias. And a lot of them has lack of belief in themselves and emotional baggages. So these are the challenges that I face when I would speak with my friends and my family. But I believe that it's not an excuse for me not to help them, everyone. Now, moving forward, when you want to help your friends and family or whomever that you want, it's very important, everyone, that you set clear intentions. This is one thing that I discovered in NLP is that using our intentions to our advantage, everything needs to be intentional. When you talk to someone, what is your intention for talking to someone, talking with someone? Just for the sake of small talk, I believe that you need to have a higher intention. So every time that I would talk to my mother, there's always this intention of helping her change for the better. That has been my intention, everyone. Imagine I have this 2-day program here in the Philippines that I incorporate neurolinguistic programming, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, just for them to change. And I was inviting my mother since 3 years ago. I told her, come join my program. It's for free. You don't have to spend anything. And she was so resistant. And she was telling me, June, you're a doctor. And then why are you doing that? You need to just stay in your lane, right? And what are you doing? You're working with the mind, hypnotherapy, and all those negative things. People think here in the Philippines that hypnosis is the work of the devil. So, right? Imagine. That's what they believe in. And knowing this, it's so far off from that. And with the tools and techniques, because I know that my mother had a lot of traumas in her life, everyone. She had a lot of baggages. And did you know what happened? Because of the tools and techniques that we learn, after the third year, this year alone, she was the one who said, June, I feel that I'm so negative in my mind. After 3 years, everyone, she finally said, June, I feel that my mind is full of negativity. And I feel that I need your program. Imagine after 3 years. But do you think it's worth it? Even though it took me 3 years, everyone, I say that it's worth it. And every time that we meet, because we're from a different island, so I need to ride a boat going to where my mother is. Every time that I visit her, there's always that intention that I want to help her change for the better. That's why intention is very important. For what purpose and what is your intention for doing what you're doing? Always go back to your intentions because your intentions will be your inner compass. It will guide you moving forward. That's why that's the first thing. Set your intentions first that you want to change, help other people, or whatever intentions that you want. Then the next will follow. And then my brother, everyone, the brother that I shared with you, he now has his, he now is employed. So after all those years of being unemployed, he met a girl, his girlfriend, and then she helped him become better. But unconsciously he didn't know that I was using the techniques to reprogram his mind. Imagine the power of what we do. If you appreciate it, if you just put it and take it into action, you will be creating magic in other people. Before we create magic and those we don't know, let's create magic in the people that we love the most. Okay, are we clear on that? Next is internal representation. You need to be very clear of what is your internal representation in your mind. when you do a technique, when you deliver a technique, everyone, you need to first visualize already what's happening in your mind so that you have an idea what internal representation you are going to be placing to the people that you love, right? What kind of movie? Are you putting in horror stories when you talk to that person, or are you putting in images of hope, images of strength, of empowerment? So when you speak, when you do deliver the tools that I will share with you, you need to visualize what's happening in their mind, right? Because change requires five positive internal representations. And we all know that. For us to help someone change, it needs to have five positive internal representations just to lock it in. So when you communicate with someone, don't only talk to that, visualize already what's happening in the person's internal representation. Are you empowering that person with the type of communication that you're delivering? Is your language empowering or disempowering everyone? That's why it's very important that you are intentional with what you're doing. That you need to think first before you talk. Because we cannot not influence a person's internal representation, right? So internal representation is very important. So what are the tools that you need so that you can create change to the people that you love? Number one, rapport. Number two, metaphors, everyone. Values, meta model, reframes, and Milton model. These tools and techniques that I'm sharing with you, these are the tools and techniques to help us loosen the grip, right? Not exactly for them to release the problem, just for them to be open to joining your program, to doing timeline therapy, to doing hypnosis, just to help them with that. Because before that, they will be so resistant to you. Don't do timeline therapy to me. Don't do hypnotherapy to me. But in reality, we know that when they experience that, they get the freedom, the peace of mind, the healing. But you already know that we don't do this in the first session, right? When you work with your client, we need to loosen first the grip. That's why when you do coaching, you give tasking initially. You give a 14-day task for your clients. And we can't do that to people that we love, especially those who are resistant. So how can we bypass the resistance? So number one, everyone, is rapport. So very important. The things that we learn in NLP, we know that it's being taught to us via layering, layers, right? First is sensory acuity, then rapport, then hierarchy of ideas. Everything is being layered because we use that all the time. And do you know what the secret to rapport is? I know that you already know what rapport is, mirror and matching, all those things. But here's the secret to rapport. You become like them. You become like them. That's the secret to rapport. You just become like them. Did you know before, when my son was 6 years old, he was in grade one. And there was a time there before NLP that I was so frustrated that he had a hard time reading. And my 36-year-old brain would keep asking him, why is this so hard for you? It's just so easy. And what's happening, everyone? My son was becoming so afraid of me. He would hide in he would hide in his mom, no, the back of his mom. He would hide because he was so afraid that I would shout at him. And when I learned NLP, I realized that I was breaking rapport with my son. I was not establishing rapport with him. Because imagine, you're a 6-year old and you're expected to think like a 36-year old, right? How would you do that? And I'm a 36-year-old and I'm expecting my son to think like a 36-year-old. Then the rapport would break. So what happened when I learned this? I realized that I was not mirroring him. So what happened? I went down to his level. I began to speak like a 6-year-old. I began to speak his language. I played Roblox with him and whatever, just to get back the rapport that we lost. And it took me again 1 to 2 years to build that rapport, everyone, to build that trust. And if you're asking me, is it worth it? Yes, it's worth it. Even if it takes me 5 to 10 years, it's going to be worth it because we love our family. We love our children, right? Don't tell me that the baby would quit after 1 to 2 weeks of trying to walk. Walking is so hard. I'll just crawl and I'll just ask my mother to carry me. Right? No, we do whatever it takes because we have the right intentions. We have clear intentions why we are doing this. The reason why I'm teaching you this so that you won't be wasting your time. You know already the tools and techniques so that you're not hitting and missing. Right? I want me and my children, me and my husband to be okay. I'm just hit and miss, whatever techniques that I will do. But if you already know that those techniques that you learned can work, you can just keep on repeating it until you already break the resistance. It's like having a stone and ask having water drip on the stone, and then after a couple of years, it will just break. And if you ask me, is it worth it? Definitely, it's worth it. Seeing my mother join my 2 day program, everyone, was one of the highlights of this year. I'm so thankful and grateful just for that. It was just amazing seeing her being able to release everything. And I didn't know that she had a lot of traumas in her life only when she joined that program when I truly learned what happened with her. Because before that, I could only see her as my mother. I didn't see her as a person full of trauma, the experience that she had from her parents. But with the tools and techniques that we do, we can create magic in the life of other people. So master rapport, mirror and match. But if we chunk it down, it's just becoming like them. You just have to become like them. Chunking up, no? Chunking up. If we chunk it up, it's becoming like them. You just become like them. So whatever they like or they want, just be like them. Don't wait for them to go to your level because we know this. We are more aware of this. We need to go down to their level. So that when we go down to their level, everyone, we will help them go to our level. Okay, initially they're here and we are here. So what we want to do is we go down to their level and together we help them go up. And we can only do that if we have rapport with the people we love. It does not guarantee if you have children, if you have your partners there, that you already have rapport with your partners or children. It's not a guarantee. You need to have tools and techniques. Because of this, I was able to communicate better with my wife. Me and my wife had more rapport because of NLP. Imagine the power that what we do, the power of what we do. Okay, next is metaphors. This is the first tool that you need to learn. Rapport is the first tool. Next is metaphor, everyone. Why are metaphors very important? Because it bypasses the critical faculty. Right? People tell stories. That's the reason why children before they would tell those bedtime stories during the evenings when the child is already almost asleep. Because during that time, the critical faculty of the child, because it's the child is half asleep, it's already open. But haven't you asked yourself, why do they say the bedtime stories, the fairy tales during evenings, not in the morning? Why not in the morning? Because the child is already half asleep, right? The child is already in a state of somnambulism and all those things. And then after that, that's the time that the child would already open the critical faculty. When the child would open the critical faculty and you deliver the metaphors, the child would already make connections. Why did mom say the story? Why did mom share the story? For what purpose is the story? Who is the princess? And who is I might be the princess. And this is what I need to do to become better. Right? Even before, they don't explain the bedtime stories. They just say it as it is. That's the secret there when you deliver a metaphor, everyone. Don't explain to them why did you deliver a metaphor, for what purpose. Let them be the one to take in the lessons that you want because they will be deleting, distorting, and generalizing it. And they will accept it according to how you deliver it, but they will be receiving the message that you will be sharing. Is it clear? So metaphors are very important. When I give my talks, I would deliver a metaphor and I will just leave it there. It's up to them to think about why I shared that metaphor. Next are values. Values learned in master practitioner, everyone, but this is very important. A lot of people, when they discover their values, they get that aha moment, right? They discover that, this is the reason why I keep sabotaging myself because I want money, but money is my number 10 in my values. Right? I don't know if you've met people who are like that I want to be rich. I want to be successful. But when you do values, when you elicit their values, they're number 10. The money is in number 8, 9, and 10. That's the reason why they don't have money. And when they realize that, it just breaks their resistance. Just gives them a aha moment. Just gives them clarity in their life that this is the reason why I'm doing this because money is not that important to me because it's far off in the values level hierarchy or ranking. Okay? Imagine losing weight. You're having a hard time losing weight, but your health is and fitness is in number 5 just like me. I have my health and fitness, everyone, is number 5. So my number one value is career. So I need to satisfy first on my other values before health and fitness. So that's very important that you also use this to your advantage. And you can just use this in communication. Oh, what's important to you right now in your life? What else? What else? What else? And then you could feed it back. And they would just blow their mind. Okay? Next is meta model. Meta model. This is so powerful. You know meta models because before I'm the type of guy who would give advice. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And then what thing that would happen is that they would shut off. They would say, June, here you are again, giving advice. We don't need your advice. I don't know if you experienced that. Because you love them, you want to help them, right? But because you want to help them, it turns out that they don't want our help. But what would happen if you could bypass the resistance? You could just make them realize what would happen. What would happen if you decided to change? Imagine a life that you decided to live that kind of thinking. How would your life be like? You let them think, you let them become more associated so that they could really feel it. So right now, what I do is I structure my advice in meta model questions so that they are the ones who's going to figure out the answer for them, even though we already know the answer. But they need to be empowered to discover the answers for themselves. Because what they would say, this is who I am. That's the reason why I think like this. Okay? Is it clear, everyone? Can I get a thumbs up if everything's clear so far? Very good. Thank you for that. And another one is reframes. What's amazing with reframes, everyone, is that we can just use this in the context of conversation. We can just add it on while we're talking to them. That's why it's very important. That's why it's a setup. So let's say for the first time that you see your mother, you give her a metaphor. Then the next session, you just deliver a meta model for your mother. Then a reframe, right? Slowly but surely, you're breaking the resistance of the people that you love because you want to help them. Now, reframe is very powerful because it helps them change the meaning on the situations that they are currently in. It's not going to change the situation, but they change the meaning. It makes it more positive for them. right? Sometimes they would say, you know what, we were born poor, and this is the reason why our life is like this. And you could say, being poor made you more resilient in your life, made you more hungry for success. And they would think, I didn't think it, I didn't look at it like that, right? That alone could already give them a aha moment in their life. So very important to utilize all of these techniques to your advantage. Reframes, because I when I give my talks, everyone, I incorporate everything. But again, it will always go back to the main intention. Why am I giving this talk? For what purpose is the talk? And my main intention always is to transform the lives of my listeners, to transform the lives of my audience. So I already know what's happening in their mind when I deliver the stories, when I ask the question, when I ask the questions, when I do the reframes. So those are very powerful. Next is utilizing Milton model, everyone. Milton model is helping someone go into agreement. You don't directly say what you want to say, but you use Milton model for that. What I do is just I incorporate Milton model when I talk to someone, but it becomes so unconscious when you keep on doing Milton model, everyone. You're not thinking of, I need to do Milton model here. It just goes out of your mouth. It becomes automatic, and you could just see the individual going into that state already of relaxation. You could already see that they are agreeing with what you're doing. And then what you do when you're in that process, you add in the things that you want to suggest. But it's a process that you keep on doing so that you master it after a while. So that's Milton model. So let me share with you a story, everyone. There was this community. And what's special about this community was that when the children would reach 3 years old, they were required to wear a backpack. Now, what's so special about that? Because every time that they thought of something negative, they were doing something wrong, they were required to put in a small pebble inside that backpack. Imagine the weight of that backpack, everyone, when you're already 60 years old. Now, they were not allowed to leave that community. And one of the young men, he started to ask questions. He asked, why are we not allowed? I want to explore outside of our community. And the elders would always say that just stay here because you're safe. Don't go out because you can't trust people from the outside. But this young man wanted to really explore. So what he did, he left the community, everyone, and he was so happy. Felt so free. And then after a couple of days of traveling, he met a group of friends. And they were having so much fun. They were swimming, they were running, they were climbing. And he also wanted to join, but there was this voice inside his head, you can't trust people from the outside. You're not safe. But one of the friends, but one of the friends saw him and he invited him. Bro, you want to join us? Do you want to join us? Initially, he said no. But because he also wanted to experience what they were experiencing, after a while, he said yes. And when he said yes and he joined, he was so happy. But his friend noticed that he was becoming so frustrated. Now, what happened next? He asked his friends, he asked, bro, what's your problem? Earlier, you were so happy, and right now, you were so frustrated. And this is what he said. He said, bro, in our community, I'm one of the best. And here, despite giving my best, I always end up last. And I just couldn't figure it out. And this is what his friend said. Bro, why not take off your backpack? And this is what he said. Bro, I can't take off this backpack. This is who I am. I don't know myself if I don't have this backpack. This is part of my community. And he was so proud. He was wearing it like a badge of honor, everyone. but he wanted to become the best. So what he did, he removed the backpack. And what happened next? He easily became number one. So what do you think is his reaction? He was so shocked, right? So what he did, he went back to the community, everyone, and he asked the elders. He asked the elders, what's the purpose of our backpack? Why do we need to wear this all the time? And this is what the elder said, because that is part of our tradition. And that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. They themselves didn't know what was the purpose of the backpack. But the true story there, everyone, all the initial settlers who created that community were a bunch of miserable individuals. And they wanted everyone in the future generation to experience the misery. Before we formally end, everyone, let me leave you with this. It only takes one new mindset shift to change your life. If from this morning, afternoon, or evening, you've gotten one thing and you apply it in your life, I believe that it's enough to change your life. That's why be open to learning. Never stop learning. Because from our 1 hour together, if you just got one thing and then you applied it and you get the results, your trajectory will become different. And that's the reason why I keep doing this, because I believe that one of you here, even if one of you here got so much value, and I'm so thankful and grateful already with that one. But what more, all of us, right? We already gotten so much value. Apply what you learn, because remember this: all the techniques that we learn are actionable techniques. We can use it to improve our lives, our career, our relationships, and other people. But the key there is to take action. Take action. No matter how great the technique is, if you don't know how to, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? If you don't use it, you lose it. Make NLP a part of your life, everyone. Be at cause, no? Be empowered, and just apply it, because I guarantee you 6 months, 1 year from now, you'll get different results. And it all starts in our mind, because if you've seen me on my first day on my NLP prep, like Carolyn has, she knows already that I'm a completely different individual, right, Carolyn? And I'm just so thankful and grateful, everyone, for this opportunity to discover neurolinguistic programming, being able to bring this here in the Philippines, being the voice of change, because I believe that it's so unfair if I rise up alone. I want every one of us to rise up together, because I believe that there's always enough for everyone. We don't have to be greedy, because there are really blessings that are meant for us. There are blessings that are meant for you. You just have to break through the barrier. Before I forget, this is one thing that I always share in my talks, everyone, and I believe that it's going to be so valuable for you. Life is like an endless game. Now, how many of you here plays games or Mobile Legends? Or yes, I thought I was the only one. So do you remember when we were young, we used to play Mario? Life is like that, but it's unlimited. And do you know that every level in the game, there's always that boss, right? You have to defeat that boss first so that you reach the next level in your life. But unlike Koopa, the enemy, the boss that we need to do to the boss that we need to defeat are ourselves. The moment that you defeat a part of you that you need to work on, you win that level and you move in a certain level. And then when you move that at that level, everyone, you get that prize there. that's the reason why the things that you're asking right now is not yet given, because that the price that you're asking is in this level of your life. So you need to defeat first all the levels so that you can reach the price that you want. So think about it like that, right? Some people, they would live their lives, die at die at level 5 only in their lives. Some people would live their lives and they would be at level 100 already in their lives. And this is the beauty of NLP, because we know how to play the game of life with the tools and techniques that we have. We know how to open up the potentials, our inner potentials, unleash our confidence, unleash our gifts, our talents, discover what's keeping us stuck, right? But in reality, those things that are stopping you are for free. You just have to learn how to forgive, let go of your anger, all those negative things. Work on yourself, release your conflicts, and you already know how to do that. That's the reason why I consider life is like an endless game, because the more that you work on yourself, the more that you win in life in yourself, the more chances of winning. Okay, the more chances of you hitting that price in that level. So once again, everyone, I'm June Acevedo. I'm so thankful and grateful for this opportunity to share my life, to also share with you the things that I've been sharing here in the Philippines. And I believe that you will also create magic where you are right now in this part of the world. Thank you for having me. And I hope that I've given so much value this time together. Any questions, everyone? Feel free to ask questions if you're here. So if you want to connect, just message me via Facebook, everyone. So it's June Acevedo. So anyone, any questions? Just
June,
feel free
I
to
have
ask. Yes.
a question. It's Gina here. I just want to say how much I found your presentation today inspiring, and to see your growth over the years. You've taken it one level up every single time, because you exemplify what it means to be a trainer and to be a master trainer. It's all about getting out of your own way. And so the way you encapsulated everything today made it so valuable and interesting. So a question for you is, what has been the one big change you've noticed in yourself, and the one big change you've noticed in your children since you did
Uh,
NLP?
okay. The one big change I noticed in myself, everyone, was the boost in confidence. Before, I didn't used to speak like this. I was so insecure when it comes to speaking in English, because Filipinos are so judgmental when it comes to English. I know it's a generalization and it's a limiting belief, but I was so particular with what other people would say when I speak in English. That's why uh, I feel people would judge me when I speak in English. That's why I was so insecure. I had a lot of self-doubts. But when I did this, I realized that what matters most is the message. It's not how you communicate. It's not even the accent, because most of us, sometimes we have interpreters when we do our trainings. It's really more of the message. It's giving me the confidence to really go for who I want to be, not what other people expect me to be. And aside from that, everyone, one of the biggest blessings that I had was being able to fix my relationship with my wife and children. I believe that has been the biggest blessing. The income, the finance part is just bonus, but being able to finally spend time with them and being able to honestly say that I needed to change personally first before them has been the biggest blessing in my life. And that's why I always keep giving back. Because if you see the change in your life, you want other people to also experience the change, because I'm a true believer of NLP, everyone. You just have to take action. Take action. Take action. Knowledge is not power, everyone. Applied knowledge is power. No, even if you're the most intelligent person here, but if you don't apply it in your life, it's just what I call stuck up knowledge. All those knowledge are just stuck in your mind. So applied knowledge very important. Did I answer your question, Gina?
Perfectly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here, June. Really appreciate it so much. Over to
Thank you.
everybody else. Thank you. Thank you.
We here. Anyone else who wants to ask questions? Programs, coaching, and feel free to ask. I think we're good. Candice?
Yes, I was wondering,
Hands.
can
Yes,
I ask a question?
sure.
So you are a trainer, master practitioner and coach, and you also are a doctor. What are you a doctor in?
I'm an optometrist, everyone. I help
Optometrist.
people see. That's amazing,
Oh,
right? I
okay.
help people see with their
Cool.
vision, but in reality, I was so blind inside.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, well, I can see clearer now too after talking with you today. So thank you.
Thank you, Candice. And yeah, and this is what happened, everyone. Just last month, I finally closed my last clinic because I realized that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I want to be the best, one of the best, no, not only in the Philippines but worldwide as well. And that's the level of mindset that we need to have, level of excellence. Don't settle for mediocrity. Always have that level of excellence in your life, everyone, because people will feel that level of excellence when you talk. Don't fake it until you make it. Believe already. Okay? Fake it until you make it is such a wrong statement that we need to already believe that we are one of the best. Because when you believe it, people would feel it. Thank you, Candice, for that. And anyone else want to ask questions? Feel free to ask me. Okay, so again, everyone, just to leave. Yeah,
Sorry, Jane, there is another question. I'll just pop them on spotlight.
sure. Yes, Sudharashini.
Yeah, hi, Dr. June. Yeah, it's wonderful actually that your presentation had a lot of examples about how to reframe the questions and everything. I was watching it. It's really a wonderful presentations that we could also use in our practice, daily life, and to help our clients. So I just wanted to know, it's just basically when I was in operational excellence at the top level, I was like really top and then powerful. But because of my Christian values and as well as my childhood values, I was really humble because I was fulfilled. I was at the level of self-actualization in the Maslow's hierarchy. So I was top. So I was humble, and then the full potential I know, my awareness I know, everything I know, but I won't do the power abuse. I just
Okay.
use my power to help people, and I kind of like I don't know whether it's coming from Christianity values or my own childhood values, but finally what I found out was so many people who asked me that can I get into my this level. So even doing NLP, I was helping them to get to this level, whether it's either a tutoring or mentoring or coaching or advising, support. So all of that. But then when they came into my level, the way they looked at me was uh, helping people and being humble. They looked at me as a weak personality.
I see. So
So I helped them, and they are in their, they came to my level, senior level, and in knowledge and everything. But then they saw my helping nature or guiding nature as a weak personality.
I see. Thank you for sharing, Sudharshini. I believe it's as we need to check our projections, everyone. Perception is projection. So the question here was, what is it teaching you? What is it teaching you so that you become better moving forward? Because I believe
Yeah,
I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, always ground everything to my values.
yeah,
So what happens, everyone, is that when I did NLP, I believe that this is just the answer to our prayers, right? As a Christian and as a Catholic, NLP is the how to our prayers. If you pray, then use this. If you
yeah,
pray, then just apply this. And for me, for that one, Sudharshini, just to serve you as well, you just reflect. What do I need to work on so that this won't happen again?
yeah.
What do I need to work
Uh,
on?
I found the answer. Maybe because I should take away the Christian values and look at my power, because that's a kind of gift I have. So many people are thriving to come to that level, and I easily got that level in my life, and then I didn't understood the value of that level. So that's my lesson that I learned. Okay, I know my power, so that I know my gift. So I know that I'm fully potential. But the fact that I didn't know the value of my power, because that's where I did the mistake. So it gave me the lesson when I was listening to your presentation. It helped me a lot when you were actually telling a kind of a story, using storytelling. It helped me a lot, because it was kind of reflecting, yeah, what exactly went wrong in my kind of things. So it's maybe I took myself granted. So this presentation helped me a lot, in go deeper, so that I can help clients. In what way first I change myself so that I can help my clients. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank
Always
you.
remember, there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. There's
Yeah.
no such thing as failure, only feedback. And there was something that I need to share, but I just slipped my mind. There's no such thing as failure, only feedback. I believe that this will just help you level up your life moving forward. And all those things that happened in you are just feedback for you to awaken the greatness within you. So, Darshini, because you are meant to serve more people, not only those people.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Thank you
Good.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, June. This is Sanjeev
Yes,
from
Sanjeev.
India. Uh, well, thank you for the wonderful presentation and also sharing your experience in terms of how you've taken it across. That's really beautiful. Um, when I started, it just made me think and would like to reflect on this. Um, I started NLP around 2008 and 9 onwards, and when I started in terms of using NLP and the tools, right? Uh, we are all slaves of our habits. In NLP, we say programs. So we have a tendency, almost like, say, allopathic medicine. You have a headache, you take a paracetamol. You have this, you take this, you have this. So that was what was happening when I started. Okay, for this, okay, start with report, then do this, then do this. So it was all about having the tools and saying, okay, which tool to use, which tool to use, which tool to use. And I was seeing success happening. However, the change happened around 14, 15, 2014, 15, when it was almost to realize the start of NLP, the base of NLP is not in the content, is not in the label, but it's in the structure, right? So, for example, if I'm using a particular tool, if I'm actually um, uh, doing a compulsion blowout, or I'm doing VK dissociation, anything. So, if you look at the basic structure, I'm actually using perceptual positions, right? And that was my aha moment. Yes, tools are important, but you still limit yourself and you still play at the tool level because you're looking at the tool in isolation. And the reality is there's a lot of overlap which happens. But if you look at the structure, then I realized that I was able to go beyond where my sphere was to help people. So that came. I wasn't a child psychologist. However, I started working with children with learning disabilities. I wasn't a speech therapist. I started working with people with pathological speech problems, stuttering, stammering, and so many all. And that helped me more. Tools important, but again, in terms of how we use tools, we are all. I was set in my old program of this, then this, for this, use this, for this, use this. But when we look at the structure, because we know NLP is all about the structure, not the content or the label on it. When you look at the structure, I found it more empowering for myself to go ahead and use it and use all these tools with greater effectiveness. I just wanted to share that along with your
Well,
wonderful presentation. Thank you.
thank you, Sanjeev. Again, everyone, it's really more on the intentions, right? For what purpose? What is our intention for doing this? Did you know that even though I'm already a master trainer, I still learn a lot of things from my students because my students are from different backgrounds. Some of them are in the academe, they're teaching, some of them are in sales. My main focus of learning NLP was is really to transform people's lives. That's my main intention. So when I speak, I would always make sure that it's something that could help someone change their life. But in my students, they would use it in the context that they're using it in the academe, on the, let's say, sales or being a housewife, everyone. And what's so amazing is that even at this level, I keep on learning from them. I keep on learning from you because we use
Absolutely.
it in different contexts. It's so amazing. That's this is how you use it in the academe.
Sure.
That's how you use it in sales. As a lawyer, that's how you use it. It's so amazing, and I feel that this is what's amazing with us as well because we are just hungry for knowledge,
Sure.
hungry for that knowledge that will help us level up our lives and also contribute to society. And this is one thing that I also want. This is I finally remembered. Always remember this, everyone. People around you will not change. Okay? People around you will not change, but when you change, people around you change. Again, people around you will not
Interesting.
change, but when you change, people around you change. And that's exactly what happened to me. When I changed my perception on my wife. I changed my perception on my children, my in-laws, and it took the decision that it was me that needed to change, not them. So thank you, Sanjeev. So the
Just
Rashini, thank you. Candice, thank you for the sharings and the questions. Gina, thank you so much. And Candice, thank you for having me as your speaker this morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone.
Okay, thank you. Is there any more questions for Dr. June Acevedo? To yourself. Dr. June Acevedo, I got a private message here from someone who wishes not to be named.
Sure.
He wanted to thank you from the bottom of his heart. I'm reading his message. I needed to hear what I needed to hear, and I'm going to build relationship with my son again. Exactly what I needed to hear, I heard today. Please thank Dr. Acevedo.
Just gives me the goosebumps, everyone. Thank you, who you are.
Yeah, yeah,
This is what I will tell you, no? The person who shared that. If it takes 5 or 10 years, it's still going to be worth it, right? But this time alone, building that relationship, you know already what to do.
yeah.
Unlike before, you want to build that relationship and you're just hitting stones. You're just throwing stones. I hope this works. I hope this works. I hope this works. But this time, moving forward, you could already change. No? So,
Yeah. And it's a reminder. I've started my NLP journey back in 1998, and trust me, I don't know it all. And just listening to you reminds me. I picked up things and reminded myself, damn, Candice, you got to be humble. We're just always learning, and you reminded me of these things. So, thank you very much for that. Yeah.
my honor. Yes, Shivani.
Hi, June. Hi, Candice, everybody. This was really amazing because, well, I'm in what, third year master trainer program, and like, yeah, we do give up on our family and the people around us, like the closest people, and you speaking like this, and yeah, okay, dropping those little metaphors, and I've seen the change in my family. Like a lot of them are like this in the beginning. And now the metaphors and like you said, the change we do in ourselves, it goes and ripples to them. So I'm going to start being intentional and be on purpose. Thank you so much because I think that grip and that breaking that grip that we have on that, that problem, I'm sure it's going to go. So I really appreciate that because it's the reminder. We are living and breathing beings of NLP and hypnosis and metaphors and this work, timeline therapy. We do this unconsciously for ourselves, but for the people we actually love and the people we like invested our whole lives in, Yeah, wow. It's so good to be reminded. Thank you, June.
You're welcome, Giovanni. So
And I'll see you soon.
yes, for a session. So
All right, so I think we're gonna close it up here. What amazing was how your stories. Oh yeah, your metaphor was amazing, June. Helped me to realize. Thank you for that message.
thank
June,
you.
it was awesome. It was an awesome day today. All of us needed, all of us got value out of today. And thank you so much for your time and for sharing this with us. We appreciate it. If anyone needs to reach Dr. June Acevedo, he's on our social media page. You can contact me and I can get you in direct contact with him. But for now, I wish everyone a wonderful morning, afternoon, day. Take care, love one another, be humble, always keep learning. And we're going to have our next webinar next month. So more information is coming on for that. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. June Acevedo.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank
everyone.
you
God
all.
bless everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, June. Thank you, Candace.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See you.